What is up, guys? Welcome to today's video. Today what we're going to be doing is talking about how the bed liner is holding up on my truck. So it's been about 6 months since I've put it on here, and I just want to give you guys like a little bit of like kind of a review of this stuff, just for the people that have been asking, or if you're thinking about bed lining your truck and you're wondering if it's going to be cracking or anything like that, any kind of just like general, I don't know, overtime issues of having it on there. For those of you guys that are thinking about that, here's that video. So I put this on about 6 months ago. This has probably been on for 5 months, but we did in between the cab pretty much exactly 6 months ago. And honestly, it pretty much looks exactly how it did when we put it on. There hasn't been any cracking anywhere. There hasn't been, okay, so it's been kind of chipping in here in between the door, which isn't a big deal. That's just because the gap is a little bit off. So you guys probably won't have that issue. It does bring your gaps a little bit closer, but you can push the fender forward a little bit if you want, which I will be doing at some point after I fix these little chips. But just keep in mind, it's gonna kind of raise it up a little bit, so when you open your door, it might chip on there. But that's not really an issue of it being on here over time. That's just kind of an issue of not having the fender in the right spot. So that's not really a big deal. But it hasn't been cracking at all, hasn't been losing its shine, it hasn't been fading at all, which is good. So the color pretty much looks exactly like it did when I first put it on here, especially back here, since this back here has been on here for a little bit longer. It looks exactly the same, hasn't been fading, nothing like that. The product that I use, I probably should have said this at the beginning, was the SEM Rocket Liner. It's a tintable bed liner. We sprayed it on, so it wasn't a roll-on job, it was a spray-on job. I don't recommend doing a roll-on job because I've heard kind of some horror stories from people that did roll-on jobs. I guess it's really hard to keep it clean, and this stuff is kind of not really much harder to keep clean than paint. It might be a little bit easier actually, because I actually sprayed it today. I went to the car wash with it today, and I just sprayed it with the soap, and then what do we got here? It looks like we do have a little imperfection here, but I believe that's probably just because it might be a little bit thinner on this body line. You guys can see that right there. It's not really a chip. It just looks like it didn't get complete coverage. Yeah, so I really can't speak on that. Pretty much the rest of the body though doesn't have any imperfections. I'm looking for some right now, and I really don't see any. Like I was saying before, no cracking, nothing like that. These decals that I put on here, you can actually put decals over the bed liner if you use a heat gun, and these have been on here for roughly about the same amount of time as the bed liner has been, so probably like 5 months for the stickers, and they still look as good as the day I put them on, so they're not really peeling off or anything like that. So if you guys are gonna put stickers on the bed liner, like decals and stuff, and you use a heat gun and you do it well like I did, I haven't had any peeling issues. The other one I didn't really put on quite as good, honestly, and it's kind of getting a little bit of water underneath it, which isn't a huge deal. It was kind of messed up already when I put it on, but I mean, that's easy. You can always just peel these off and put another one. But pretty much the rest of it though, haven't had any issues. I'm looking for imperfections right now and I can't find any. Even around the seams right here. Okay, so like where we taped it off, so this is the edge of the bed liner. I'm not really noticing any peeling there, which is good. That's kind of one of the things that I was a little bit worried about, is right where we had the tape edge right here. If it was going to peel back, and it looks like it's actually on there pretty good. Let's go check the other ones and see if the other ones are having the same result. Yeah, I don't really see any peeling on this side. Around here, I'm assuming I won't have any there, but it's mostly the backs that I was worried about. Nope, no real peeling under there, so it seems to have adhered to it very well. Underneath here, there's really no issues. This is kind of flaking a little bit. That could have just been, there might still be even tape right there or something. I don't believe that's the bed liner's fault. It just looks like I didn't prep the bottom of this very well, honestly. Yeah, because you can see that the paint, the old paint is still right here. I guess I didn't remove that fully on the bottom right there, but around the other edges, it's not peeling off or anything like that. This probably won't be a big deal either. So yeah, it's holding up pretty well. I actually have no complaints about it. It doesn't have scratching in it or at all from hitting trees. You guys saw in my last video, I hit a tree covered in ice, basically, like a big tree branch. Slid all across the front of the hood going about 35, and I don't see any marks from that. I'm sure if I had paint on this, it would have been all scratched up, and you can see there's really, I can't even see where any of it had hit, so that's very good. Also, my windshield didn't get damaged by that at all, but I feel like if I would have had paint on this, it probably would have had scratches from that tree branch that whacked the front of the truck. But yeah, so there's your 6-month update on how the bed liner is doing. Again, I used this SEM rocket liner, spray on bed liner. We prepped it with 180 grit sandpaper, and then sprayed the bed liner over it. We didn't use a clear coat. It just kind of has like a natural sheen to it anyway. I don't recommend putting a clear coat over it. But yeah, so there's your 6-month update. If you guys want me to tell you how it's doing in like a year or 2 years, I can do that also. But yeah, alright guys, hopefully this helps you guys out if you're thinking about bed lining your truck. I definitely do recommend this product. It's been holding up very well, as you can see. So yeah, alrighty guys, make sure to like, subscribe, follow my social media on the screen now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you all for watching.